Hi and welcome back. Okay, so I've got 5 pretty fun, slightly challenging questions for us to go through today. So let's look at this one. 6 divided by 2 brackets 1 plus 2. So do you reckon you could do this? A lot of students, a lot of people get this wrong. Feel free to type in your answers in the comment section. A bit of a hint, make sure you're using PEMDAS or PEMDAS you may have heard of. Make sure you're using that. Okay, let's go through this answers. So, I'm going to call it BODMAS. Some people call it PEMDAS. Same thing. Let me just write it out. That was a weird choice of highlighter to use. Let me just get a proper pen and let's write it out. So, BODMAS or BIMDAS. Actually, that's the most common way it's called. It's also called PEMDAS as well. It's pretty much the same thing. So first we have to use brackets, or if you're American, it means parentheses. That's what you need to do first in your mathematical operation. So over here we have our brackets or parentheses, if that's what you call it. And we need to do that first. So over here, it just says 1 plus 2, which is 3. So we can rewrite this whole equation. And we got 1 plus 2, which is 3. And when there's like a number outside the bracket, it basically means your times in. So we're just saying that times 3. Perfect. The next mathematical operations we have are division and multiplication. And you'll notice that they're actually in different orders in this. And the reason being, what we actually do is when you have multiplication and division, the same with addition and subtraction, you just work from left to right. So then we just need to work out what 6 divided by 2 is, which is 3. And then we just have 3 times 3, which is 9. So excellent work. Give yourself a tap on the back if you got that correct. A lot of people get that wrong, and some people write 3. But if you got 9, that is great work. Well done. You're on the right track. So tick. Okay, let's try the next question. So a shirt is on sale and it costs $24, and that's after a 20% discount. What was its original price? So again, feel free to type in your answers in the chat box if you reckon you could do this. You should be able to do this without a calculator. Feel free to use pen and paper. Some of you may also be able to do it in your head. So let's do this. So in order to work out a percentage discount or a percentage increase, let's do percentage discount first. So what the formula to use is you do 1 minus the percent as a decimal. So this is when we're reducing a percent. And you multiply it by the original value and it gives me the sale price. So let's just explain this formula again. So when you're reducing a percent, so when it's been a discount, you do 1 minus the percent as a decimal. If I was increasing the percent by 20%, it would be 1 plus the percent as a decimal. So hopefully this makes sense. This is just 1, take away the percent. You multiply it by the value and it will give you the sale price. It will give you the price. Okay, so 1 take away 0.2 is 0.8. So you've got 0.8 multiplied by your value will give me 24. And so all we're trying to do is going to bring that 0.8 to this side. So my original value will be 24 divided by 0.8. So we could write that out as a fraction, 24 divided by 0.8. We can make 0.8 a whole number by just multiplying by 10, which basically means you're moving the decimal point 1 spot. Whatever you do to the bottom, make sure you do to the top. So you just have 240 on 8. And again, a lot of you could do this in your head, or you could use this bus stop method. How many times does 8 go into 24? It goes 3 times. How many times does 8 go into 0? It goes 0 times. So 240 divided by 8, or 24 divided by 0.8 is 30. So this shirt originally cost $30. So well done if you got that one correct. Good work. Okay, how about this one? This one trips up a lot of people as well. So we've got a bat and we've got a ball, and in total, we're told it costs $1.10. And the bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. And you're asked to work out how much does the bat and the ball cost. Okay, let's break this down into algebra. So we've got the bat, and let's just call that x, and then we've got the ball. So in total, if you add up both of them, you should get 1.18. It says the bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. So actually, let's make the ball x, and the bat is exactly $1 more than that. So it's going to be whatever the cost of the ball is, which is x, plus $1. Does that make sense? Hopefully you can see how we formulated that equation. And then we could solve this. So we're basically saying this plus this has to give me 110. So let's write that out. So our bat cost, which is x plus 1, plus my ball cost, gives me $1.10 in total. Okay, let us collect like terms. So we've got x and x, which is 2x, and we've still got that plus 1 equals 1.10. We could bring that 1 to this side. So you've got 2x equals 1.10 minus 1. And 1.10 take away 1 is just 0.1. And then you could divide both sides by 2. That gets rid of that. 0.1 divided by 2 is 0.05. So x, which was my ball, costs $0.05, and then my bat is exactly $1 more than that, so it's going to be $1.05. So make sure you answer the question, and that makes sense, right? Because total they cost $1.10 and the difference between them was $1. So good work if you got that right, or if you're able to follow that through. Okay, this one trips up a lot of people as well. It's quite easy, but people forget to tell me the second solution. So give this a go. Feel free to type this on the chat box, and bonus marks if you get both solutions. So x squared equals to 16, or is x. So all you need to do here is square root both sides. So x is the square root of 16. Always remember, when you square root an answer, you get two solutions, positive or negative. So x equals either -4 or +4. So most people just write the default answer, +4. But remember, when you square root, you get two values. Because if you work out -4 squared, you get 16, right? You get +16, and 4 squared is also 16. So always remember to write both answers for that. Well done. Okay, the final one, the challenging one. So a square has a diagonal that measures 10. What is the area of the square? Oh, this one's a bit of a tricky one. So let's draw this out. So here we have a square, and we're told that the diagonal, is 10. And we want to know what the area is. Okay, so do you reckon you could do this? So what we can do is actually set up a right angle triangle, hey, over here. And we could just call the sides x. And because it's a square, they would be exactly the same sides. And then we could use Pythagoras' theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals to c squared. So in this case, it will be x squared plus x squared equals to 10 squared. X squared plus x squared is 2x squared. 10 squared is 100. You could divide both sides by 2. So x squared is 100 divided by 2, which is 50. Therefore, x would be the square root of 50. So we can leave it as that because this is calc free. You could write that as a surd if you want. You could think of two numbers that go into 50, one of them being a square number, so 25 times 2. So we could write this as x is root 25 times root 2, which is 5 root 2. So instead of writing root 50, you could also write it as 5 root 2. But remember, the question actually said what was the area. So in this case, area would be x times x squared. So it would be root 50 times root 50, which is 50 units squared. If we did the surds times each other, you would still get the same answer. So 5 root 2 times 5 root 2. Basically, you do 5 times 5, which is 25, root 2 times root 2, which is 2, and then you get 25 times 2, which is 50. So you get the same answer. Don't be afraid of surds. People find surds a bit confusing, but they're really not. They're quite fun. So well done if you got all of those correct. Some of them were quite tricky. So how did you go? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.